Okay. So we shall begin. Happy Wednesday to you all. We're going to start on our backs. I'm actually going to have my feet. I'm going to try something a little different. If you have two blocks, set them up like this. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take my feet. And obviously, if you don't have blocks, it's fine. You could do this just with your feet flat to the floor. And if you don't like it, just kick the blocks out of the way, just trying new things. So your feet are elevated on the blocks. The blocks are still about hips width distance, and you just go ahead and lay down. That's all we're going to do today. We're just going to elevate our feet and lay down. Just kidding. So you're going to lay on your backs and let your knees just come in for a second. Feel your feet elevated. Feel your lower back on the ground. Have your palms facing open so your shoulders just can relax down. Take a big breath in through your nose. And then exhale loud out through your mouth. And as you do that, feel your low back really press into the floor. Good. And then pull your knees apart. Begin to breathe through the back of your throat, through your nose. So just have your knees set up like you're going to go to a bridge. Pull yourself up. Arms are going to reach alongside the body and really press the feet down into the block. Now, if this doesn't feel great for you this morning with your neck, your hands can always go behind your head. You can create a little like a pillow for yourself. But I like it with the arms forward. Just keep reaching. Scoop out your belly. And rather than feeling like you're lifting with your neck, lift with your core. Pull your chest to the ceiling. Keep pressing in your feet, anchor them to the floor. Good. Lift a little higher, and then lift your legs on that strong angle. Flex your feet. So you're just holding, scooping out your belly. Lower your feet. Hopefully you find the blocks and you haven't moved. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, let it go. So these are just some amended abdominal exercises. Here we go. Pull yourself up. Good. Feel your feet, because a lot of times you really need to press through your feet so you can lift through your core. Lift your legs on an angle. Flex your toes. Keep lifting. Rebend your legs back onto the feet, onto the block, onto the floor. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, let it go. Try again. Pull yourself up. Good. Lift your legs on an angle. Lower your feet back down. Lift a little higher. Scoop out your belly more. Exhale the breath, let it go. Keep going. Pull yourself up. Lift your legs on an angle. Lower them back down. Press through the ground, through the blocks. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, let it go. Two more. Pull yourself up. Look to the sky, it helps. Lift your legs on an angle. Slow it down if you're moving faster than me. Lower your legs back down, feet to the floor, blocks. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, let it go. One more. Pull yourself up. Lift your legs on an angle. Flex your feet a little. Rebend. Place them back to the floor of the blocks. Lift even higher. Exhale the breath. Let it go. Hug your knees to your chest. Give them a big squeeze in. And keeping your legs close to you, just move your hips to the left and drop your knees to the right and just stretch out your low back and your core drop. So just drop your knees to the right with both knees together. Just kind of like a tight spine twist. Your hand is on the side of your left thigh and you're just dropping open. And then come to center, scoop them up nice and tight and close to you. Drop them over to the left and your right shoulder blade down to the right. And then just look a little to the right. Good, then come back to center. Rock and roll across the length of your spine several times this morning. Get some momentum. And as you come up, cross your ankles, move your blocks to the top of the mat, plant your hands, and step to your first downward facing dog this morning. So step to your first downward facing dog. And you should feel a little like sensation through your core, hopefully. Julie, I like the closet yoga this morning. Fantastic. Yeah, we have bathroom yoga going on. We have closet yoga. We've got multiple bathroom yogas. We got fireplace yoga. This is such an interesting, cool experience for us all. Yeah. All you can do is laugh. Downward facing dog. I know, because when you go to a yoga studio for years and years and you see the same people and like you don't know much about them, you just see them at the yoga studio. Now we have like these little glimpses of people in their closets, in their bathrooms, in front of their fireplaces. It's hysterical. Breathe through the back side of your body. Breathe your hips up off your shoulders. Hold. Hold yourself up on the mat in your downward facing dog. Spread your palms wide. Go ahead and bend your legs halfway. So your knees are gonna bend, so your shins are now parallel to the ground. So just do that. Fire up the sides of your arms. Your knees are bent. They're halfway to the floor and you're on your toes. You're in a down dog with your knees bent. Pull your shoulders away and then start to lift your hips and start to slowly straighten out your legs. Spread your toes wide and see if you can get your heels maybe a tad closer down to the ground. Maybe they're nowhere near. Still in a down dog. Let your head, your jaw, your neck, everything just go. And take the few next moments here to slow down your breathing, slow down your focus, slow down your mind, and just begin to feel. Roll forward to plank. Stack your body nicely so your shoulders are over your elbows over your wrists. Good. Lengthen your tailbone, Jody, a little more. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, draw the pit of the belly in and up, and fire up the sides of your arms. So I use my triceps a lot to hold up. Know you can drop your knees at any point and support. Plank position we're holding. I'll encourage you to bring your weight forward onto your tippy toes this morning to find proper extension. Run a lot of energy from your tailbone through the crown of your head and from your tailbone back towards your heels. Hold. Feel the weight in your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger. Draw the core to the back of the spine, fire up your thighs. You're still in plank. If it gets to be too much, drop your knees. Move your eyes to the front skinny edge of your mat. I like the drishti at the front edge of the mat. It's a good spot to look. Keep the neck nice and neutral. Lower halfway to a chaturanga or hold plank if you prefer not to take this right now, or knees can drop. Draw the pit of the belly in, press through your hands, re-straighten your arms to a plank position, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice work, let the head go. Again, roll forward, plank position, modify as much as you need, make the practice work for you. So just because I'm doing one thing doesn't mean that you can't back out. Bend your elbows in half, slow push-up, chaturanga, pause. Keep your neck neutral. Drag your chest through a first up dog or baby cobra if you're opting out of these. Press through your hands and actively through the tops of your feet. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat right here. Take 2 big steps to get there. 1, 2, and keep the feet hips width distance right here. Long spine on the inhale breath or hands to the front of your shins. Exhale, fold over your legs. Do that again. Long spine, let the shoulders draw down the back and create a little arch through your upper back. Exhale, fold again. Root to rise, come all the way up. Anchor your feet, contract your thighs, drag your hands to prayer. Stand still for a moment. Decide how you want to practice, maybe with feet hips width distance this morning, or feet can come together. It's up to you. Slide the arms up, look up with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Take your time, let your head go. Long spine on the inhale. If the hands don't make it, use your blocks. Plant the palms, step, step to plank. When you arrive in your plank, you can choose to hold or bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Drag yourself through an up dog, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing. Let the head go. Deep breath in, plug down. Deep breath out, let it go. Look where you want to go. 2 big steps, don't hop yet. Top of mat, most of us are pretty cold. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold over yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag the hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Use this time to really connect. Stretch the arms up, look up. Dive again over bent knees. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms, step, step. Try and alternate which leg goes back first, if you could remember. Good luck with that. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Pull yourself through an up dog, if you're taking it. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let your head go. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So really use this as a meditative part of the practice. Look where you want to go. You can step, step. If you feel like you want to float, land lightly at the top of the mat. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold again. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart, stand tall. Drop your arms to reset. Slide the arms straight up. Look up a little with your eyes and then fold again over those bent knees. Nice, Kristen. Come to the fingertips, long spine to prepare. Plant your palms. You can step, or you can float, but if you float back, you must land with bent elbows, chaturanga. Then pull yourself to an up dog. Slide your chest through your body, hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll keep moving like this, just a little more. Look where you want to go, step or float, feet to the top. Land light if you're hopping. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. One more. Slide the arms up, look up. Dive again over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms. You can step, or float through your vinyasa. Or skip them. Upward facing. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, pause. So my suggestion here is really find a drishti, front edge of the mat, good spot. Draw your right knee towards your navel and keep looking forward. Plug down to create more space. So feel your hands press into the mat, feel your outer triceps grip in. Activate your left thigh more. Keep your gaze moving forward and hug your right knee closer to you. Hold, you're still doing it. Lift it up away from the floor a little more and then step your right foot smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong. Grab on somewhere into the front of your right shin and come into triangle early on here. Reach for a block to the outside of your right calf if you feel like you need to be up a little higher. And play with the splay of your stance. Some of us like this a little longer. Some of us like the triangle position of the 2 feet to be a little closer together. So it's really personal preference. Wherever you are, your right hand is resting somewhere along the right side of your body. And the left arm is reaching up. Now take this left arm, reach around and grab the inside of your right thigh if you can, or just reach to the flat part of your back if you don't have that shoulder extension. So half bind in a triangle pose. Feel the sides of your legs really engage and the sides of your waist really lengthen. Look off your left shoulder towards the sky a little and press down through the floor. Hold. There's a twist of your ribs, a lengthening of your body as you maintain a nice steady flow of breath. Unravel just the left arm to the sky and feel the fresh blood flow to your fingertips. Look to the floor, circle both hands to frame your right foot. Peel your left heel up, drop your back knee. Walk your right foot over to the right so you have enough distance. Come to your fingertips. Back thigh is resting and it's on a tilted angle. Toes are curled. Interlace your hands behind your back. So your hands are gonna clasp and you're in this low lunge and my stomach is actually resting on my thigh. So just do this much. Focus on your right heel. Press it into the ground and hug your right hip underneath you. Then very slowly, keep your torso the way that it is. Begin to lift your knee a little up off the ground, your back knee. And then from your hamstring and your glute, begin to straighten your back leg. So now I'm hovering over my right thigh. So start to lift your belly like an inch away from your belly, your thigh. Grip the hips in. So I'm in this low lunge and I'm hovering. Hands are bound if possible, hugging of the shoulder blades down the back. Steer the feet into the mat more. Begin to lift the torso into a crescent lunge, but keep the hands clasped. The clasped hands slide down the back of that left thigh somewhere. If it's too much, you let go of the clasped hands. Hold. Look forward with your eyes. Maintain your breath. Press the feet more into the ground and then wrap your arms out and up towards the sky. Reach to the fingertips like you're holding a strong block in between your two hands. Hip points forward, back leg strong. Left hand down, right arm up into an easy twist. And if you know you don't dump into the shoulder, take the whole palm flat to the ground. If you know you do, tented fingertips or a block is the way to go. Grip your right hip in, twist from above the belly button, look up. Stack the two shoulders neatly on top of one another if you can. And then begin to focus on your bottom hand and arm. Press it firm to the floor and roll into a Vashisthasana side plank. If you need to modify this morning, drop the bottom knee. Lift the hips up, stack the body nicely, look up with your eyes. Flex your feet a little more. Make sure your right hip isn't turning out. I want to turn my right hip towards my fireplace so I know I'm aligned properly. Lift a little higher. And then look down. Plank position is where we will meet. Plank position, hold plank. Either hold plank or bend your elbows and hold chaturanga. It's up to you how far or how deep you want to work. You're in a chaturanga or a plank. Re-straighten your arms and pause. Keep your eyes moving forward. Hug your left knee in. Drag your knee towards your navel and keep your drishti a little forward. Keep your breath flowing. Plug down to get more space for you to grow the pose. Keep the drishti moving forward. Land your left foot smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong. Grab on the front of that shin somewhere. Come up into triangle pose. Reach for a block if you need it. First, take regular triangle. Work out the alignment and make sure the position feels good for you. Then the right arm. Gonna reach to the hip, behind your low back, or all the way around into a half bind. I can show you the different options here. If the shoulder feels a little crunchy, hand could just be on the flat part of the back. Turn the chest open though, and then look up. Grip the hips in. There's a spiraling of the rib cage, yeah, and the left arm is long and strong. Zip up a little more. Unravel just your right arm up towards the sky. Feel a lot of good blood flow running towards those fingertips. Draw the waist up a little bit more. And then look down with your eyes. Circle both hands to frame your front foot. Walk your left foot over. Drop your knee, but keep the toes curled. Your knee is on an angle. Arms are going to reach back. Clasp your hands the other direction. So my stomach is actually resting on my thigh. My back knee is down. And I'm setting myself up here. I can really ground through my left heel and hip. Hug it in. And then begin to fire up from your right thigh and quadricep and straighten the leg. Lift the belly up about an inch up off the left thigh. So you're in this hovering position. Steer with your feet, your hips move forward towards the front edge of the mat, and there's a hugging in of your shoulder blades. Press down through your legs and feet, start to lift your waist. As you lift your waist up, your hands stay clasped. Ideally, start to slide them down the back of the right thigh. Do as much as you can. Steer the hips forward, look up with your eyes and your chest without dropping your neck back. Sweep your arms out and up. Move the energy through your fingertips as if you're holding a block in between your hands. Firm up your triceps. Grip your hips in. Sit a little deeper. Right hand tense or goes flat depending on your shoulder. Left arm open. Use a block to the instep of the foot if you feel you need a little lift. Grip the hips in and stack the two shoulder blades. Activate your back leg. Now focus a lot on your bottom right hand. You're gonna have nice smooth transition into a side plank Vashisthasana. You can modify as much as you need, dropping your bottom knee down. Or the more traditional way, the two hips and the 2 feet stack, the left arm extends up. Look up with your eyes. Nature is that that top left hip wants to open. So square it off. Good, press down to get a little bit more, lift a little higher. Look down, plank position is where we meet. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Drag yourself through an up dog, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, land your right foot forward. Turn your back foot strong and come up warrior one. Sweep your arms out and up. Feel the energy move. Steer your left hip forward. So you want your hips and your ribs facing the front of the mat. Stretch up with your arms and bend deep into your right front thigh, not into the knee. Use the back blade of your foot to really anchor. Bring the hands to the floor, plank position, chaturanga. Upward facing drags you through, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your left foot forward, turn your back foot strong. Steer your hips back and then come up, warrior one. So think left hip, rotate it back, and right thigh forward. These look good. Hips forward, waist forward, arms energetically reach. And then look up a little with your eyes to inspire yourself. Hands to the floor. Vinyasa or not at this point. If you're not into all these push-ups, leave them behind and just work through a down dog this morning. That's when we'll meet. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a loud exhale, breath out. Make some noise on your mat. Look where you want to go. Step or float feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale, weight stays forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees into chair. Here we go. Get excited. Move the weight back into your heels. Firm up the sides of your triceps the best that you can. So all the gravity is pulling you down, but at the same time, you're reaching up. So it's oppositions being pulled apart. Press to stand, straightening your legs, hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Let's go. Stretch the arms up. Sit again into chair pose. Dive over bent knees, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine for that preparation. Plant your palms. You can step, or you can float through your vinyasa. You might just decide to step. Up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot moves, back foot strong, warrior one. So just do the best that you can this morning to move yourself on the mat. Great. Hands to plank position. Chaturanga. Upward facing drags you through your body. Point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing. Left foot lands, back foot strong. Warrior one. Take your time. Hands to plank position. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Really see if you can activate your legs. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let your head go. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Plant your hands firm. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Nice. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Sit big into chair. Weight moves into your heels. Patty, I like you in pink. It's a good color. Yeah, it's cheerful. Tracy, just have your arms by your side body if the shoulders are not. Yeah, like you're swimming. Press to stand, hands to prayer. Drop your arms by your side body and sit again into chair pose. Here we go. Sit deep, chair pose. Move your weight back. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog drags you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's go with this. Right foot forward, back foot strong, warrior one. Hands come down, plank position. Bend your elbows in half for the push-up. Upward facing. Press through the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing. Left foot lands, back foot strong, warrior one. Everyone looks so excited. You have lots of good energy moving through your body right here. Hands to the floor, plank position. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, it's bold. Hips up and back, downward facing is where we meet. Press through your hands, look to the top of the mat, lightly step or float feet there. Long spine on the inhale, exhale, fold, sit again into chair. Yeah, so if something's going on with your shoulders and keeping them up in this position does not feel good, options can be arms reach back like you're swimming. Clasp the hands loosely on your lower back with bent elbows. Thumbs in the creases of your hips. A couple options to play with. If things don't feel good, we need to make them feel better. Press to stand, hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Here we go. Slide the arms up or have them in a prayer. Sit into chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step, step, or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot forward, back foot strong, warrior one. Hands to the floor, vinyasa or not. Just keep it moving in some way. Left foot forward, back foot strong, warrior one. Steer that left hip back, guys. You got it. Hands to the floor, plank. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Slow up dog if you're taking it, press to the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your right foot forward, turn your back foot strong, warrior one, and hold. So sometimes you get to warrior one, and you need to slide your right foot a little further forward or over to the right a little. Your left thigh should be turning forward. Drop your arms by your side body, everybody. Interlace your hands behind your back. Your arms can be straight or they can have a bend at the elbows. It's up to you. Sit deep into your front thigh. Let your shoulders draw down your back. Lead with your heart and chest. Come forward for humble warrior. So humble warrior, you can either rest your stomach on your thigh. You can keep your elbows bent if you need, or you can get in there, but keep squaring your hips to the front edge of your mat. Don't open your hips. They are forward. Grip your right hip and steer your left thigh forward. Let your head go. If your hands are bound and the arms are relatively straight, drop them down. Let the head go and just be here. Press more through your feet. Grip your right hip underneath you and make sure you're not holding your breath. Focus a lot of energy on your back leg right now. Start to pull your torso up. Warrior one legs, but keep your hands bound. Straighten your right leg. Step your back foot about an inch or two. Steer your right hip back. My hands are bound. My legs are straight. My torso is forward. Inhale the breath, lift through the chest. Exhale, come forward for Parshva. Steer your right hip up and back and your left thigh forward. Drop your hands down. If this doesn't feel good, especially this, Tracy, you can just let your hands rest to the ground. You can slide blocks underneath them and just take a traditional way of doing this. Fold. Let the head go. But if your hands are still bound, work on really dropping them down further to the base of the skull. Steer your right hip up and back and press strong through your back leg. Let your torso melt over the front of your thigh. Back leg is strong, front leg has as much bend to it as you need. Stay with it. Strong legs, press up slowly to stand. Sweep your arms out and up, reach up big, legs are straight, arms are straight, you're still in this position. Right hand to your hip, left arm reaches up, comes forward halfway, and you begin to lean forward. As you come forward, block to the instep of your foot, left palm down, right arm peels open into a twisting triangle this morning. Steer the hips back like someone's got you by a bungee cord, and they're moving your hips towards the back edge of the mat. Shoulders should be stacked nicely, and you should be twisting from above the belly button. Grip your right hip, everybody, underneath you, and move it to the back edge of your mat an inch, and then twist from above your belly button. And then look up. Stay with it. One more big breath in. On the exhale breath, bring both hands down to the floor and either step right to a dog or move yourself through a vinyasa. It's up to you. When you get to your downward facing dog, here we go. Get excited. Left foot forward, back foot strong. Warrior one. Come on up and hold. Warrior one. Yes, drop your arms again by your side body. Pause for a second. If you can remember which grip you took, opposite thumb, opposite baby finger. Arms are bound straight or elbows can be bent and hands rest on your sacrum. You pick. Arms can also just be like this. Bend deep into your front thigh. Steer your left hip back. Lift up with your chest. Look up a little. And then exhale, come forward for humble. Decide what you want in this pose. Sometimes we don't even know what we want, but we just kind of work towards it. Steer your right waist towards the front edge of your mat and either rest your stomach on your thigh or get in there. Shoulder can snuggle. Grip strong with your left hip underneath you and turn the right side of your body a little bit more forward as you get a little more deeply intent into this pose. Hold. Focus on the strength of that back right leg. Press firm through it. Press through the outer blade of your foot strongly. Hang with it. It's just a sensation. It will dissipate in a moment. Press strong through your feet. Keep your hands bound. Start to pull your torso up. Warrior one legs, hands stay bound. Straighten your left leg. Scoot your back foot in an inch or two. Your right toes are almost completely forward. Inhale the breath, steer your chest forward. Exhale, yeah, so Jody, square your right hip, bring your right hip more forward, and then fold. So you want your pelvis completely neutralized and then come down. Let the hands be bound and drop them down even further. Steer the left hip up and back, anchor the outer blade of your back foot. Squeeze all the muscles around your back right quadricep and let yourself just drape down into this. You can always separate your hands and rest them on the ground. Let the head go. Connect to your breath. Just hear your breath moving, feel your breath moving. 2 more. Press strong through your feet and legs. Start to bring yourself up nice and slow. As you come up, keep your legs straight. Sweep your arms straight up. Left hand to your hip, right arm extends up, back right leg strong and straight. Come down halfway, pause. Use your left hand to steer your hip back and then reach for your block. Most of us need it, it's okay. Place it any direction that works, that you know you're gonna have success. High, you can even use 2 blocks if you really want to get out of your shoulder and be up really high. Grip your left hip, everybody, underneath you. Activate your back leg and then twist open. So your arms are like side plank. Yeah. If this left arm feels kind of jammed up, hand can just bend and stay on the flat part of your back. Steer the hips towards the back edge of your mat and try to enjoy the twist. A little longer. Two more. Different transitions, so don't just go right to the floor. Look down with your eyes, take your hands to your hips. Pull yourself back up, just move your blocks out of the way. So as you come back up, your legs are in this shape still. Arms are gonna reach straight forward like we're handing someone a block. Yeah. Wrap your right arm underneath your left arm, do the eagle arms first, bend into your left leg, wrap your right thigh around, eagle right here at the top of the mat. Bend into your standing left leg. It's like a little chair. Trying to wrap your right thigh around your left, move your weight into your heel and stick your butt back. Rather than feeling like you're pulling down in your arms, lift your elbows up. And then steer your right hip back and your left hip forward as you bend deep into your standing leg. Weight moves into your heel, shin moves back. Squeeze a little tighter. Release, you're gonna go right to the other side. Wrap the left arm, wrap the left leg, eagle. Anticipate falling out. Work it out a little. Steer your left hip back, your right hip forward, bend into your standing right leg, lift your elbows up. Squeeze tight. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. Sit a little deeper. Release, go back, right side, go again, right arm, right leg. Just go with it. You got nothing to lose. Except maybe falling down. Squeeze everything nice and tight. We won't hold it so long. Lift the elbows up. It's going to give you an upper thoracic stretch. Bend deep into your standing left leg. Squeeze down the center line of your body. Release, right to the other side. Wrap the left arm, or whatever side you think you didn't do, wrap the left leg. Squeeze tight. Bend deep into the standing leg. Move your butt back. Sit a little deeper. Release. Energetically reach your arms up. Look up with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Let's keep it moving. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step, step, or float through a vinyasa. Pull yourself to an up dog. Point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing. Make sure there's a block at the top of your mat. From your down dog, glide your right foot forward into a low lunge. Take your block the appropriate distance. We're going to half moon. If you want to go high with the block, use that block off the edge of that right baby toe and pop up into half moon from this position. Lift your left leg. Stack your left arm. So what this teaches us to do is to make sure our right foot does not turn, right? Most of us turn and we don't even realize it. So grip your right hip underneath you. Lift from the side of your body and stack your two arms. If your arms can't stack, just have your left hand on your hip. And even go towards the wall. Lift from your inner thigh. If you want to add the Chopasana today, I'm cool with that. Reach back with your left hand, bend at your knee crease, and see if you can grab your ankle. This isn't for you, just stay in its traditional form. Rather than feeling like you're kicking up, I'm actually kicking my foot towards my fireplace. Yes. The lift of the bottom ribs and look off your left shoulder. Soften behind your right knee so you don't go jamming into the joint. Regular half moon if you took a bind or any fancy variation. Look down, really focus on the strength of your right foot and hip. Keep it forward, giant step back, warrior two. Warrior two. And if you struggle with the transition, join the party. Warrior two, really big step, right foot steers forward, back foot turns a little. Lengthen the tailbone, energetically reach across your body and hold. So just as much strength through your front arm as your back arm. Yeah. It's amazing how your arms talk. Steer your left waist back, Jody, and your right ribs forward towards the wall. And then move a lot of energy across your torso. So you're using both arms the same amount of time. Stay with it, guys. Reach. Sit a little deeper, lengthen your tailbone. Reach out with your right hand and slide it to the instep of your foot. I really like a block for this. So you can place your hand onto the block, your left arm up. Arm can also rest on the top of your thigh if you're not into the hand being all the way down. Lean back into the inner part of your thigh. Grip your right hip underneath you and keep turning your bottom ribs. Take your left arm, wrap it around for a half bind. This isn't for you. You just don't do the next step. You just stay with this. Keep leaning back. If you'd like, you can take a full bind. When you take a full bind, there should be a lift of the torso and you should be able to look off your left shoulder. Stay here. If you'd like to work into birds of paradise today, you're going to begin to look down, step your left foot up, stand onto your standing left leg and begin to come up to stand with this bind around your right thigh. Stand up nice and tall. And then if you'd like, you can shoot your right leg out. Flex your foot. Do everything in steps. And if this isn't for you, just stay. Steer your torso forward. If you went into birds, rebend the leg, take the foot back down to the floor, don't let go of the bind. Step back into your warrior two stance. Right hand down, Left arm up, wherever you are. Anchor your feet and your legs. Pull up warrior two. Stay with me, guys. Flip the right palm. Reverse your warrior. Keep bending into your front right thigh. This is not a back bend, it's a side body opening. Look forward, circle the hands to frame your front foot. Step to a plank. When you get to plank, hold. Lengthen your tailbone, drop to your forearms, forearm plank. It's a good thing you're on mute. A lot of you are probably cursing at me right now. Lean onto your right forearm. The right forearm can stay forward or it can turn at any angle. Forearm plank. Lift your hips. Energetically reach up with your left arm. Forearm plank. Flex your feet. You can always drop your bottom knee. Last little bit. Left arm can slide forward for a side body stretch. Lift up a little higher. Do the transition slow. Look down, forearm plank. Right hand to the floor plank position, left hand to the floor plank position. You're in a plank position. Either do a down dog or move through a vinyasa, you pick. So however that was for you, forget about it because you got another side. From your down dog, step your left foot forward into a low lunge. Use your block, focus on your left hip and foot, float up to a half moon. Your right hand can be on your hip and half moon. Extend your right arm up towards the sky. Lift from your waist. Spark up your right toes. Add the Chopasana if you did on the other side. If not, just stay here. It's a bend at your knee crease. You reach back, you grab your ankle. Rather than feeling like you're kicking up, you're kicking back. Turn your bottom ribs. The hardest part is that left foot because it wants to turn. You must try and keep it forward. Keep gripping the hips in. Turn your bottom ribs, look up, last little bit. If you took a bind, regular half moon, meet us there. See if you can take the transition in slow motion. Focus on your left foot staying forward and your hip gripping in. Giant step back, warrior two. Booyah. Warrior two. Settle into your warrior two. Turn up the inner part of your left thigh. Yeah. Lengthen your tailbone. Looks really good. Whatever your mind is telling you here, let your body fight back. Sit a little deeper. Ground yourself. Use the strength of both your arms to reach strong through both sides of your body. Last 3 breaths. I tell you to try to enjoy it, but most of you look like, ooh. Just kidding. Reach out with your left hand, find your B variation. Start slow. Just stack your 2 shoulders like side plank arms. Reach for a block to the instep of your foot. Do this much. This may be where you stay for the next little bit. This is fine. You're going to get plenty from this. Scoop up your left hip, turn your bottom ribs, and really anchor your right foot. If you care to move on with me, wrap your right arm around and take a half bind. Do this much next. Twist your torso. There's a feeling that you're leaning back into your inner thigh. Next step, you're going to take a full bind. So this left arm's going to go in front. I'm going to reach, I'm going to try and get a full bind. There's on the lift of the torso, and I'm leaning back towards my fireplace. So I'm not dropping all my weight down, guys. There's a lift. Good. Birds of paradise. You're going to look to the front edge of your mat. You have to swing your hips forward and stand on your right leg. As you begin to stand up, keep the bind. This may be where you come to next. I'll turn towards you. Yeah, so it may look just like this. This can be what you're working on. If you'd like to try and extend the left leg out, extend the left leg out. Keep steering your torso forward. Nice work. Rebend the leg if you took a bird's, or if it's already bent. Lower the foot back, keep the bind. Step your feet back out into this B variation. Left hand down, right arm up. Use the strength of your torso and your legs. Pull up warrior two. Flip the palm. Reverse your warrior. Keep sitting deep into your front thigh. Let your hand slide down the back of the thigh for the side body opening. Look forward. Circle both hands to frame your front foot. Come to a plank. Come to plank and hold. Without your hips wavering, drop to your forearms, forearm plank. Spread your palms wide. Your elbows have to come in a little closer so they're not so wide. They're right underneath your shoulders. Lean onto your left arm now, forearm side plank. Turn your left arm as much as you need. It may go all the way forward. Stack your bottom hips. You can also drop your knee if you want to opt out. To work more through the side body, the right arm wraps forward. Transition slow, forearm plank, hold. Forearm plank. 5 breaths. Plank position, nice and slow, one hand at a time. Nice work, guys. Chaturanga Dandasana. Give it a whirl. Pull yourself through an up dog and pause, or baby cobra. Anchor through the tops of the feet, hips up and back, downward facing dog. You're doing great. Slide your right foot forward into a low lunge. We're almost done. Activate your back leg and come up crescent lunge. You can take this back knee down to the ground as well if you've kind of had enough of me. Yeah. So crescent lunge or modify if you need. Hands to prayer at heart. Inhale the breath. Hook the elbow, turn to the right. Grip your hip in. Back leg strong, and then an action of kind of leaning back so the crown of the head ideally lines up with your back left foot. Steer your hips back. Activate your back leg, twist open. Look to the floor, take both hands down. Walk your right foot to the center, spring your left foot forward. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Exhale, fold. Sit into a chair, weight moves into your heels. Drag your hands to prayer. Inhale your breath, hook your elbow, turn to the right. Look down, really important, make sure your feet are lined up, your knees are lined up, even if you choose to take this with hips width distance, which is recommended if the lower back's sensitive. Move the waist long and the seat back. Open up your arms if you want more, or stay here. Dig your heels into the floor as you twist open. Pull around to chair, look forward with your eyes. Press up to stand, keep your left arm up, take your right hand and scoop it up for tree pose. Right leg tree, so the left leg is strong, the right leg moves into tree. Slide your arms up. If having your arms up kind of takes you out, your hands can of course be in prayer or on your hips. Grip the hips in. At this moment in time, find stability. Hug the outer hips underneath you and stand up a little taller. Stay with it, guys. You're doing great. Keep your arms extending up. Drag your right knee so it comes forward. So just move it from a tree to a kind of bent right leg. With your arms up, giant step back, crescent lunge, left side. If it didn't work out, your hands just come down, you rearrange, and you bring it back up. Hands to prayer at heart. Inhale that breath, hook the elbow, welcome to the left side. Twist. Back legs like a plank, yeah. Or knee can drop. Lean back a little bit and get the crown of the head to line up with your back heel. Grip your left hip underneath you. Two more. Look down, take both hands to the floor, pause. Walk the left foot to the center. This just helps out with the alignment. Slide your right foot to meet it. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Exhale, fold. Sit again, chair pose, weight moves into your heels. Drag your hands to prayer. Inhale that breath, hook the elbow, turn to the left. Look down and just check out that alignment. Make sure the right knee isn't coming way forward. They should be lined up. Open up your arms if you want a little bit more. Move the weight back into your heels and get in there. Keep the strong legs, pull around to chair. Fire up the sides of your body and your arms. Really find a lot of strength from the ground. Press to stand. Keep your right arm up. Use your left hand to scoop up your left foot. Tree pose on the left side. Then bring the left arm back up. Grip your outer hips underneath you as you grow. So if your foot doesn't get high up on the inner part of your right thigh, it can be down lower. Look up a little with your eyes to challenge yourself. Make sure your hips stay squared off and forward. Lift a little higher, draw the waist in and up. Keep the arms lifted. Swing the left leg forward without the leg dropping to the floor. Just keep the left leg bent in half. Stand tall on the right side of your body. Pick a drishti, giant step back, crescent lunge on the right side. Hands to frame your front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Roll forward plank. Bend your elbows in half. Just move that stuff out. Upward facing pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your right knee forward for a half pigeon and enjoy. I was gonna do lizard, so you should be happy you got half pigeon instead. Yes, come forward. Yeah, and let yourself just float into the floor. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can always go onto your back and thread the needle. That would look like this. Ankle to knee on your back. Downward facing dog, my friends. Just step back wherever you are. Slide your left knee forward and just land half pigeon left side. I'll teach you lizard next class. Steer your right thigh and waist down towards the mat, and then let yourself just fold. It's not a long hold, so just let your body just go where it needs to go right here. Good, use the strength of your body just to pop up nice and slow. Lean onto your left side, sweep your right leg around. Bend your knees, take your blocks with you if you know you're gonna need them, but lay on your backs here. Lay on your backs. Walk your feet in a little closer, lift your hips up, clasp your hands underneath your back and shimmy them underneath your shoulders for traditional bridge. Good. Plug the shoulder blades down into the mat and then lift from the tailbone to the mat back to the knees as your thighs lift way up off the ground. If you need the block, place underneath your lower back for this. But try it the more traditional way for this one. Good. Exhale the breath, lower down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Stay with this or move on. Flip your palms. Bring your chin to your chest. Take a giant breath in, and on your exhale breath, you'll lift to a full wheel. If this is not in your practice, repeat or slide a block. Nice, Tracy. Lengthen from the tailbone to the backs of your knees and steer your feet forward. Nice work. Exhale your breath if you're in full wheel. Start to come down. If you just went with a block underneath your tailbone and your legs up, stay there. Everyone's actually going to do the same thing. If you have a block, that's great. Lift your tailbone up, take your block any direction and place it underneath you. So set up like you're going into a supported bridge. Clasp your hands around that block. Get this big lift of your upper chest. Lift your right leg up towards the sky, flex the foot. Lift your left leg up towards the sky, flex the foot. If you don't have a block today, just keep your low back down on the ground and do it with like legs up the wall. Hold here. You can close your eyes for a moment. Make sure your legs are not wavering forward or back. Flex your feet. Give it a little bit more energy this morning. A few more breaths. Kristen, move your legs a little closer towards the Christmas tree. Envision like there's something on the base of your feet, holding your feet down. There you go. Bend your knees in half, guys. Take your feet flat to the floor. Once they come down onto the ground, remove the block out from underneath you, and then slowly lower your lower back down to the mat. So it's kind of how we started today. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give them a big squeeze. And if you need a happy baby here, this is kind of a good place for it. Grab the outer blades of your feet and pull your knees around you. Lengthen from the low back all the way up to the top of the head and then the reverse of that. And then give those knees one last squeeze this morning. And set yourself up for Shavasana right here. And I know we all live in a very busy life, but set yourself up now to rest. Complete restoration. Blocks underneath thighs. Close your eyes, turn your palms open, and just let be. If you need more time, just ignore me right now and stay down. But if you have to re-enter the world, take a deep breath in through your nose. Do this slow. Exhale loud out through your mouth. And as you start to come back kind of from this yoga trance, move with kindness. Hug your knees to your chest, give them a generous squeeze in. And then move yourself up to a seated position, however it suits you this morning. Sit up really tall. Let your hands come to your knees, your hands to a prayer. Close your eyes for a moment. And just feel your energy after this practice. It was a really good class, guys. Good work. Lift your head, open your eyes. Namaste. Thanks for joining me as always. Really good effort. I'll see you on the mat on Saturday.
Thanks,
Have a
Julie.
great afternoon.